Welcome everyone, and thanks for taking the time to celebrate the start of the spring with us. Before we kick off, we would like to present ourselves to those who don't know us yet. We are the product team at Precursive.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy, the co-founder and CTO.
And hi, I'm Kate, head of product at Precursive.
Hi, I'm Matt, product manager at Precursive.
Today, we would like to really focus on what's new for you and how you can benefit from all of the great things that you will find in the spring release. But before we go into the details of it, we would like to quickly run you through what we released during winter. Then we'll move on to a live demo and show you how you can use all the new features. At the end, we'll share our roadmap, which hopefully should find quite exciting. And if you have any questions during the webinar, just feel free to drop them into the Zoom Q&A panel, and we'll answer them at the end. At Precursive, we strongly believe in the concept of connected vessels. And as Steve Jobs once said, great things in business are never done by one person. They are done by a team of people. In each company that delivers products or services, there's always a whole bunch of people involved in providing success to customers. In our last product release webinar, we've been talking about this new reality of professional services and onboarding teams, and how providing outcomes to customers and retaining them have become even more crucial than it ever was. But let's be honest, in each company, everyone needs to contribute to that. And what is also important, from our customer perspective, it doesn't matter whether they speak with a salesperson, a project manager, or a customer success manager from your company. All your customer needs is the value that you can provide to them and a relationship they can trust on and rely on. You need to deliver it as one team in a way that your customer will not have to take care of the various transitions between the teams. And today we will show you how you can actually facilitate this process in Precursive and how you can bring your teams together so that they can focus on what's really important.
Thanks, Kate. So today we're going to be sharing what's new in year one across all Precursive products. And as these products are still new to many, I'm going to start with a recap. So Precursive onboarding experience is all about building repeatable onboarding playbooks and project management. Precursive OBX helps you to manage work for each customer and project, collaborating internally and with your customer. Precursive resource capacity optimization is all about project resource management. Precursive RCO provides the view of your team's availability to plan and allocate resources, forecast capacity, and identify capacity crunches. Precursive RCO is focused on those customers for customers who are looking to plan and allocate their teams and forecast projects. Precursive professional services experience extends that capability of Precursive RCO, helping you to ensure each project is successful and profitable. With Precursive PSX, you not only stay on top of your team's capacity and utilization, and also project budgets, cost margins, and expenses for your professional services projects. Precursive PSX is focused on professional services businesses where managing project financials and billing is essential. So together, these products make up the Precursive platform, which helps your team to ensure that each customer realize the value of your products and services faster. And before we look into Spring 21, let's start by looking back at the Winter 21 release. So for customer onboarding and project management available to Precursive OBX, we launched milestones. So milestones define key tasks on your board as milestones, and Precursive will then measure the time between them. Customers are using milestones to track the time it takes to move from opportunity closed to kickoff to launch, or contract signed to first value. Milestones let you measure time to value incredibly easily. Advanced component filters enable a new flexibility to define which boards or tasks were shown when using the boards and tasks Lightning components. You can now create bespoke Lightning pages combining different views of tasks, for instance, a home page showing overdue tasks along with today and tomorrow's tasks, or on the account page displaying your onboarding boards in one view and customer success boards in another when you've got multiple teams using Precursive. and board templates, which were introduced in summer 20, but in winter 21, it became even easier to convert any board into a board template, along with a board type. So board templates are the easiest way to create templates in Precursive. And to make working with templates easier in winter 21, winter 21 introduced more template improvements. So we improved how templates are imported and now show the template import history for each board. From here, you could even remove a template that was imported by accident, and the time added, which have not been started, will be removed. This is great when you're making changes to your process and you want to refresh the templates that have been used on recently created boards. For resource management and available to Precursive RCO is the new MyPrecursive. So I've really enjoyed the new MyPrecursive. MyPrecursive is now the hub for timesheets, expenses, holiday, and approvals. And it's now much easier to submit holiday requests and a breeze to approve that time. So now that MyPrecursive page is configurable, we've been seeing customers adding their own components. And it's great to see when they're adding the Precursive OBX components that we just talked about using the advanced filters. The new MyPrecursive includes an easy way to submit holiday requests and also expenses, but I have to say I think the best is being able to bulk approve. And for professional services available to Precursive PSX, we launched timecodes. So timecodes let you define on a more granular basis which time will be countable and how it will contribute to the project budgets, utilization, and your actuals. So now looking forward to spring 21. So for customer onboarding and project management and available to Precursive OBX, we'll provide new insights for you and your team. So Matt will show you how you can proactively manage your projects with health ratings, provide regular board health rating along with status update and next steps to provide your wider team a view on the progress being made. And additionally, you can now define the expected outcomes and capture risks and issues to better manage your project. And you can configure which columns appear on the plan view. So it's great to add things like categories or estimate hours and remaining hours, or even your own custom fields. We also heard from some customers who love the real-time view and external sharing, but sometimes the customer just wants a snapshot of the plan. So now the plan view can be exported into Excel and shared with the customer. There's also an update to the Customer Onboarding 360 dashboard pack, incorporating board health and insights. For resource management and available to Precursive RCO, there's been an improvement to reporting on resource demand, and there are new reports to show forecast time against resource requests. For professional services and available to Precursive PSX, it's easier to define where participant costs and rates are going to come from in a new update to the participant modal. And finally, we're excited to share project billing. So billing for professional services can get complicated. With project billing, Precursive will streamline your professional services billing process. So let's take a look at everything new.
Thanks, Andy. And let's have a quick look at how it all works together. So we are going to start by having a look at how you can forecast your demand using Professional Services Experience module. For most of you, every customer project starts with an opportunity before it's actually closed one. The tricky part is when your pipeline grows and you have to figure out if you're able to fulfill the demand and if your team is able to cover this workload. And what's the most important, if your team is able to deliver a good quality work on time. So how do you know that you need to grow or reorganize your team early enough to meet your customers' expectations? It could be difficult till now, but with the help of our new extended data model for resource requests and the forecast demand dashboard, it should be easy for you to identify the trends and understand in advance how your demand looks like. So from this dashboard, you'll learn what's the current overall utilization of your team at the moment. You can also see your actual demand in planned hours and how many of them are allocated and how many still require some resourcing. When we scroll down, you can see the demand per week, per role. This includes both allocated and not allocated hours. You can then have a look at the availability per role per week and see whether this covers the demand. Then you can also have a look at your upcoming pipeline to understand what are the new projects that might start soon, what is the demand in terms of capacity, and what is the probability and planned margin of your projects. This can help you prioritize the work. Then you can see what's the demand in the wider horizon and how many resources per role you have in your organization. This gives you a helicopter view of your demand and help you understand what are the potential challenges that you can have in the next 3 months. You can find those reports and dashboard in the newest Precursive PSX release, in the Precursive Forecast Demand folder, and you can also easily adjust them if you need. Let's now see what other insights you can get from Precursive platform.
As your opportunity pipeline turns into projects, you can start preparing for them by assessing risks, identifying potential issues, and understanding your customer desired outcomes. And now we will show you how easily you can manage them to increase transparency in your team. All you need to do is to go to board details, navigate to its related list, and log your board insights. If we want to create a new board insight, we need to click on a new button in the right top corner. Then we need to pick one out of 3 available insight types: issue, risks, or outcome. They differ from each other by available fields. In our case, let's create a risk, as lack of capacity on our customer's end can put on risk this and affect other projects as well. As an example on the project that we are currently working, we learned from our customer that because they don't have enough capacity, project cannot be delivered on time. That can affect our project timeline, so let's log it as risk, and our team will be aware of this. This way of logging risks and other insights is helping you engage other team members so that they can proactively take care of them using the point of truth. As you are progressing with your projects, you are also able to track their health score and gather information what should be the next steps to keep them on track, schedule, and meet your customers' expectations. This is really important nowadays when everything is decentralized as we all work remotely. This single point of truth will help you all your teams involved in your projects to keep transparency and improve the collaboration between them. You can now track your health rating from OBX tab. When project is selected, on the right-hand side, we need to find a new board health button. And as we just identified a risk, it would be good to update board health with the amber rating, as the whole project is at risk right now. We are able to provide steps to update a customer with potential impact on the timeline. And if you need, you can also add a description. We've been using board health ratings internally since a year in our services and customer success teams. You can set up a subscribed report to be sent every week so that everyone is on top of what's going on with your projects and onboardings. This reduces time spent on status updates meetings. After saving rating, we are able to find information about recent health rating on the board header in OBX tab. And if we would like to find a historical data about ratings, all we have to do is to go to board details page, go to its related tab, and scroll down to find Precursive board health. And if you need to have a general overview of all the work in progress, you will be able to the project's health and insights dashboards that will be released soon after Spring 21 release. Once you have identified all potential risks and issues, it's always good to ensure that your plan is matching your customers' expectations. For that, it's useful to see the whole plan on the plan view. In this version, you can now customize the columns in the plan view simply by editing fields in the field set. Before Spring 21 release, you could share your plans with your customers only by sharing a link to the project timeline. Now you can do that also by exporting the timeline into a spreadsheet. It's really easy. It just requires to click on Share go to Export tab and click on Export to Excel button. And as you can see, when file is downloaded, you can find all the plan details, including Gantt chart in it. Columns available in the document that is exported depends on the plan view appearance, so you can customize it in the same way as columns on that view. Over to you, Kate.
Cool. So as you assign your team to your projects, it's also important to keep a close eye at your budget. Our recent improvements related to participant costs and rates controls will help you to set this up properly from the beginning. And maybe what's even more important, it will help you understand from where the saved costs and rates are taken from. Let's now have a look at our project team to see what their rates and costs are. I can see it here on the right. So let's have a closer look at Karen's rates and costs. So she's assigned to this project as a pre-sales consultant. And if we scroll down, we can see the financial information section with her costs, and as well as we can see her costs are automatically defaulted to the resource costs. Her rates are taken from the rate card role, as I'm using multi-currency here and my project has a rate card assigned. So if in this case our customer has a discount for our services, or for any reason there should be a different rate or cost applied to this person, I can provide a fixed fee when I click on this button, or switch it back to resource and save. Applying correct costs and rates from the beginning is really important, as this affects your general margin on the project, but also how you should invoice your customer at the end. Also, as not everyone in your team necessarily needs to see this budget data, you can now add the ability to access projects and participant data without giving access to those budget fields. And to do that, you can use the standard field level security on Salesforce. Another improvement that I would like to share with you today is related to managing roles in Precursive. Previously, if you wanted to add or edit a role, that had to be done on the resource and role object. Now you can do it from one place by accessing the Precursive HQ page and only updating and adding roles from there. Once this is done, the newly added role will appear as an option on the resource role dropdown automatically. This should really reduce the admin time you had to spend on that and make the process of roles and resource management easier. Now I would like to show you something really great. When providing professional services, there's always a billing element to that. This consists of invoicing the customer for the work delivered, receiving payment, and recognizing revenue. When it's hard to figure out what should be billed, it's also then hard to get the payment on time. Precursive will help you to get paid faster by giving you the ability to invoice multiple times during the project. If your invoices are based on time and materials, Precursive billing will be extremely helpful for you, as it will automatically collect the data you need to invoice the customer. It doesn't mean that invoices cannot be created based on a fixed price, as Precursive actually gives you the ability to submit your invoice with a fixed fee or a combination of time and materials and fixed fees if you prefer. It's never been easier. While you are running your project and your team submit their timesheets and expenses, and whenever it's time to send the invoice to the customer, all you need to do is to select for which time period you want to create the invoice, and Precursive will take you through this process smoothly. So to define what time and expenses should be collected for invoices, all you need to do is to make sure you have the proper time code assigned to the billable elements of the project, and some billable expenses enabled for the phase. So I already have done that for this phase. You can see the billable time code. And when we scroll down, we can see the expense category, which is billable. So let's create the invoice now. Here we need to fill the basic information. Let's take the data from the current month, as this is a project that just started at the beginning of the month. Also, let's group this invoice by roles. This will mean that each timesheet, each invoice line will present a role and its rate and the quantity. So let's move on to the next screen. At the top of the page, we have the summary of hours and the total revenue from it. We can check if there are any warnings, for example, if there are some unapproved timesheet lines. We can also expand this preview of all the entries included in this invoice. We can sort by those columns here. But let's move on to the next screen to see what expenses have been submitted recently. So here we can see the total expenses revenue, and we can check the expense that has been added to this invoice, and we can navigate to the next screen to confirm that we want to create this invoice. So once we save the invoice, we can adjust the amount or add any fixed fee here. If in your organization, project managers need to collect the data for the invoice, and then they need to proceed it with the finance team, you can have an approval process set up that could send the draft invoice to the finance team for approval first, before you actually send it to your customer. So now we can see our invoice is ready with its details and the line items. So we can now create a corresponding invoice in our accounting system. In this example, I'll be using QuickBooks. Okay, before we move on, we can check. We want to pre-populate the invoice with the data from Precursive, and we'll be using the data, this customer data that already exists in QuickBooks. So let's move on to the next screen. Here we can check all the data. If everything is filled in correctly, we can see the roles appears as line items. We can see the rates, the quantity. What we can do, we can confirm that we want to create this invoice. Once it is created, I can download it as a PDF. So we can have a look at it. Let's move back to the invoice now. So what you can see here, the invoice status has changed to sent, as it already went to our customer. If we want, we can, this PDF that we downloaded, we can add it into the notes and attachments section here. Now, as your customer send the payment, and I'll just refresh the page in a second, you will see how the invoice changed to paid, and the amount paid will appear here as well. So you can see the status flag has changed to green, and the invoice is fully paid. And we have the amount paid as well. Okay, so now let's navigate back to the project page and the budget information. To see the billed revenue that is coming from the invoice that we just created.
Great, thanks, Kate. So doesn't project billing look really great? Looks amazing. And I'm really proud of what the team has delivered. So Kate showed how project billing can integrate with QuickBooks Online using Breadwinner. The same process works for QuickBooks Online, Xero, and NetSuite. When using Precursive billing and Breadwinner, the invoice status and payment status will be updated as payments are made against the invoice. This means you have real-time view of invoice payments against your projects. So Breadwinner is an integration app for Salesforce and popular accounting systems like NetSuite, QuickBooks, and Xero. And we chose to work with Breadwinner as it's a product that we use ourselves and trust, and it can be set up in minutes. If you do not use one of these three popular accounting systems, then there are other methods for integrating using APIs or other third-party integrations from the App Exchange. So we can always explore those. So project billing is a pilot, and we're looking for customers to work with and learn from how we can make this even better. In the future, we expect project billing to be a separate module to Precursive PSX that will require separate licenses. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you can all take advantage of everything in Spring 21. But let's recap. So in onboarding experience, we've got new insights letting you proactively manage your project with health ratings. We can see we've seen how this can avoid sort of tedious status meetings and replace it with a scheduled report showing active projects with their latest health rating, combined with commentary from the PM, and also a risk rating from associated risks and issues. And we can dive into just those projects that need our attention without laboriously reviewing each and every open project. Professional services experience now has project billing. And if you're interested in taking part in the pilot, please reach out to your customer success manager. This spring release will be available for you from tomorrow. So I just wanted to take a moment to get your feedback in real time. So a poll is now going to pop up to ask you what your most anticipated feature is for Spring 21. Board health and insights, the exporting of the plan, project billing, and demand forecasting. Have we got the votes in?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So so the results are in. So the most popular was board health and insights, with about almost 70% of people. Following up closely behind that is being able to export the plan, then project billing and demand forecasting. So I think there's like a good people interested in all these key highlights across all these different products and all these different features. So I'm really excited to see people taking advantage of these in the coming weeks and months. So, and if that wasn't enough, our team is already working towards the Summer 21 release. So to take a look at what's coming in Summer 21, for customer onboarding and project management available to OBX, before we even get to the summer, we'll be sharing some improvements to Precursive OBX that will make collaborating with customers easier and more powerful. So that this new customer onboarding workspace makes it even easier than ever to create a new shared workspace with your customer. There's more on this is going to be shared in the coming weeks. So Summer 21 will enhance how you organize work for more complex projects by adding an additional level of subtasks. More subtasks means that you'll be able to create a work breakdown structure up to 3 levels deep, so you'll be able to divide tasks into smaller chunks of work. Later in the year, we'll be expanding upon how dependencies work within Precursive to allow for more options for multiple dependencies and dependencies of different types. To help with customer collaboration, we're adding contact role notifications, which will be extremely helpful alongside the customer workspace, as it allows you to notify your customer when a task has been assigned to them. For resource management and available to Precursive RCO, we know that resource assignment is core to Precursive, and in Summer 21, there's going to be a number of changes coming to the Precursive plan. We're working on new ways to assign multiple resources together, and this will make assigning teams and projects much faster, and even provide a preview of the resource capacity before confirming the assignment. Beyond this, Precursive will let you search for resources based on distance from the project. So if you've got a project in New York, you can filter your consultants within a radius of project location, and this is going to be really cool. For professional services and available to Precursive PSX is improvements to timecodes. So customers have loved timecodes in Spring 21, but the #1 request was to expand this to support productive utilization. So timecodes allow us to provide really accurate billable utilization, and from Summer 21, you'll be able to report on billable and productive utilization with pinpoint accuracy. This is ideal for individual utilization targets, where non-billable work can be just as valuable. For instance, consultants working on pre-sales. You can define each timecode to identify if it counts towards the billable and productive utilization. So it's exciting to see how Precursive is growing as a platform, and I hope you're as excited as I am what the future has in store for all of us. So I hope you enjoy what we have in Spring 21.
Before we move into questions, I would like to share with you how we can now connect with our product team at Precursive. If you want to provide us feedback or share any future ideas with us, just write to us at productive@precursive.com. We'll be more than happy to get in touch with you. Also, stay tuned for our customer success and product newsletters, as we'll be sharing in them some great tips, product updates, and best practices. So let's now have a look if we have any questions. So there's one question about billing. What will be the cost of the billing license once it stops to be a pilot? And how can we provide the feedback on it? And would you like to take this one?
Yep, yeah, happy to. So billing is currently in a pilot. So please get in touch to your customer success manager to get on board with that. We're really looking forward to get feedback from all of you to see how you use billing and how you integrate billing into your accounting systems. And we'll be sharing pricing for that in the near future as we move through the pilot.
Mm-hmm. There's another question. Well, when will this update be released? It's going to be available from tomorrow, so you can upload it from tomorrow. Another question: does the export of the plan require any additional setup? Matt, would you like to take this one?
Sure. So from the configurational point of view, there is nothing more needed, just using this feature. So from the improved share model, you can choose to export and it will download the file for you without any additional configuration needed.
Great, thank you, Matt. There's another question. If you are opted into automatic updates, will that happen tomorrow? So I can answer that question. It won't happen tomorrow, but you can upload it from the App Exchange from tomorrow. The automatic push of the upgrade will happen in a few weeks, and we'll be sending more communication about that soon. So you'll be notified before. We'll first push the upgrade to your sandboxes, and you'll get an email about that. And before we push it to production, you'll also be notified about that. Any other questions? If not, then thank you everyone once again for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed this webinar and all the features that we are just releasing. So hopefully see you soon. If you have any questions about the new features, you can also reach out to us via our email at productteam@precursive.com. So thank you everyone once again. Bye-bye.